again, we are at Toylanta, and this is Ace Allgood. If you've never seen Ace, you should check him out if you catch him at one of these shows. I usually see him at Toylanta and Joelanta, and he has probably the most interesting selection of 60s and 70s G.I. Joe stuff you're going to find.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I got to tell you, I am a huge 1/6 scale G.I. Joe guy. I have a website called Vintage 3D Joes. I encourage you to check it out. It's a great identification site for all 1/6 scale G.I. Joes, and what I like to do is I like to come to the shows around the country and teach people about G.I. Joe, and I love sharing my knowledge, and I love sharing my love for the stuff. So come on in, let's take a look. I've got some loose figures here, got some basic stuff, all kinds of stuff, some Mike Powers, some everything. Package stuff over here, got some loose figures. There's a handful of like really kind of crazy rare stuff. There's the very hard to find photo box from the Air Sea Rescue. There's the 67, 68 4-in-1 service box. There's a photo box of heavy weapons. Here's the nurse that everybody likes to go looking at and trying to see the lovely nurse. I've got a Russian in the original packaging right there. All kinds of just really amazing early 60s stuff. Here we're going to kind of get into some 69 and some 70s stuff. I've actually got, this is something that's kind of cool. I got a custom figure that I made of my dad, who was a surgeon in Vietnam,
really?
Which is kind of fun. But the rest of my stuff is all vintage. Like I said, I've got some carded items, I've got some packaged items, and then I've got lots of loose items too. I've got 2 warehouses back home full of loose parts and pieces that I love to, if you're looking for something special, feel free to reach out. Again, Vintage 3D Joes is a great website to learn about this stuff. Come on down here and I'll show you a few more things. Here's the Mouth of Doom in the box. Here's some later issue Atomic Man stuff. Here's some of the action packs. Later, when G.I. Joe was kind of moving out of the packaging, they were kind of blowing out some of their stuff in these backyard patrols.
I had a couple of those once upon a time.
And those are super fun. They're a great way to get some great accessories. I got some really nice early carded stuff over here too. Again, you'll see a whole lot of everything, I got this DVD that I made that I think is really fun. I got all the commercials and all that stuff from the 60s and the 70s and some great stop motion stuff. That's always a fun thing too. I know it's crazy to even talk about DVDs anymore. But yeah.
Hey, I'm all about that physical media.
I know, it's fun. But no, all kinds of packaged and loose stuff. I pretty much specialize in everything from 64 to 76, and I love talking about G.I. Joe. I also encourage you to go on YouTube and see some of the identification videos I've made with Cotswold Collectibles. We love talking about
I remember Cotswold.
Yeah, I do videos where I talk about the nuances of bodies from around the world to boots and all that stuff, and we're always learning. We're always trying to share more information that we learn, so I encourage you to reach out. Let me see what you've got, and we love talking G.I. Joe.
Absolutely, and I'll finish doing a walkthrough here just so that people can see here.
Yeah, get some good close.
Because, again,
that's fine, wasn't it? It was good.
Yeah, you're fine.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you, and we see Ace at a lot of these shows, and he always has this insane collection of just, again, 60s and 70s Joe sets and accessories, and he's got the most boxed and carded items you're going to find at any of these shows. You don't see him at the Joe Fest, but Joe Fest is more 3 3/4 inch oriented. And I showed this on the virtual video tour, but this will give me the opportunity to just slow down. And this is one of my first loves from action figure collecting, is the vintage G.I. Joe. Mint in the box, capture copter. Come on. One of my first loves, of course, the G.I. Joe. And I used to have a much larger collection. I mean, many of you know the story. Part of the collection that was stolen. Not much I can do about that. Look at that. I mean, a carded intruder. When have you ever seen one of those on the card? Sharing with everybody. Wanted to take a chance to talk to Ace really quickly, and do check out his website if you're into this sort of thing. Really impressive. unless it's sold.
And I showed it the album. That's why I had to get it for her.
So please do check out Ace if you come to any of these shows.
I'm thinking about where I'm
What do you think, guys? This whole table is a museum in of itself. This entire setup.
I found a couple. Is that like typical?
No.
Okay, so the general concept of the way
Thanks again, Ace.
is working. Thanks, buddy. Great seeing you, man.